Hey, how you doing? I'm in the process of marketing a new club. I've mentioned it in a couple of videos. I'm starting to teach catch wrestling again, a kids class and an adults class. And one of the things that I kind of use as a selling point about martial arts is that it'll help you get fit and live a healthier life. And I thought that might be an interesting thing to kind of discuss, because I'm not 100% convinced it's true. So I guess we need to be very aware at this point that pretty much everything I'm going to say is anecdotal. I don't have any proper research. I've not looked at any scientific studies. I've not done anything formally to try and work out if martial arts helps you live a fitter, healthier lifestyle or not. But what I have got is a vast amount of anecdotal evidence, because I've been involved in martial arts for 35 years or so. And I know a lot of other people that are. I've been involved in the community. You know, a vast number of the people I hang out with and get on with are also martial artists. And I've travelled the world because of martial arts. So, has it made me fitter and healthier? I'm not sure it has. I guess the first thing that we need to talk about is the fairly catastrophic knee injury that I had. I screwed up a throw, I popped my knee sideways, broke the end off my femur, had it screwed back together, had to learn to walk again. It's all a bit of a mess. The bit of bone that came off got avascular necrosis and has collapsed down on itself. So what I've got, instead of a nice, lovely, smooth, cartilage-covered femoral condyle, the smooth bit of the knee joint that kind of rotates round, what I've got is something that looks a little bit more like a cheese grater. And what that means is that my knee swells up, it hurts, sometimes it gives way, I can feel things inside pop and twist and move, and I fall over. So from the terms of my right knee, no, definitely not fitter and healthier because of martial arts. But, you know, that's a fairly unusual, rare and pretty catastrophic injury, and I don't think that that's the sort of thing that's going to happen to most people. I was unlucky and I pushed at the boundaries of what I was doing, and for whatever reason, that's happened. So let's just put that to one side and look at all of the other stuff. I guess what we have to do is look at the different martial arts that I've done, because some of them are definitely slightly more prone to causing injury than others. When I started my martial arts career, I was a teenager. I lived in Oxford, and I'd wanted to get involved in martial arts for a long time, and I hadn't been able to persuade my parents to take me to martial arts classes on a regular basis. However, when we moved to Oxford, I found a class I could walk to. So I did. I started training in Aikido under Peter McGann, who trained under Kinetsuka at the Iffley Road Sports Centre, and Oxford Aikido Club, I think Oxford City Aikido. I don't know. Had a great time, loved it. No injuries at all. It was great. I fell over a lot because I was made to. I learned to make other people fall over a lot, and I loved it, and it gave me a real kind of a love of martial arts. It was a nice club, it was friendly, and I learned a lot. My views on Aikido have probably changed since then, but it was a really lovely way to be introduced to the martial arts world in a way that allowed you to train and get used to physical movement and controlling other people's movement, even if it was relatively consensual and not really against resistance. But I was about 18 when I moved from Oxford back to Yorkshire, where I was originally from. Couldn't find an Aikido club. This was kind of pre-internet. So I wrote some letters to people trying to find stuff out. I visited a number of clubs. The only one I found that I liked the look of was a Laogar club. But I couldn't afford them. They were really, really expensive, and I just didn't have the money. So I, at that point, resigned myself to giving up martial arts, but a friend of mine, completely out of the blue, who I knew from the early days in Yorkshire, said, yeah, come along and do Shotokan. There's a new club starting up just around the corner from me. I'm going to go along. You should come too. So I did. And I did that for 8 years. I suffered a few injuries, but it definitely helped me get fit. I kind of threw myself into it. No damage of any great note. Maybe that's because I was younger. Maybe it's because Shotokan wasn't quite as dangerous. Few broken bones, fingers, toes, that sort of thing. Bruising, broken nose from time to time, but nothing spectacular. And I think on balance, that definitely helped me get fitter and healthier. Helped me stay fitter and healthier. It helped me be active. So yeah, I'd recommend that one. If fitness, health, being active is a high priority, then yeah, that's a good one. Then I got involved in HEMA. The early days of HEMA were very different from what HEMA looks like now. We didn't really have protective equipment. We didn't have training swords. The first training sword I had, I made myself out of wood that I'd bought, and it was just the most god-awful thing you've ever seen in your life. We managed to get hold of some reenactment swords, which were incredibly heavy, blunt bars, not sword-like at all. The balance was terrible. They weighed far more than they should, and we broke bones left, right, and centre. Fingers, hands. We cut each other. I've got a huge amount of scarring across my left arm from pole arm work, from my right arm from sword work, and yeah, all in all, that definitely wasn't good. But it's very different now. There are a lot of companies making dedicated HEMA protective equipment, gloves and jackets, and HEMA extra strong HEMA masks. It's a very different ballgame. There are still injuries, but very few. The problem, I'd say, with HEMA is that you can't really classify it as one thing, because Regency small sword, Renaissance side sword, French medieval poleaxe, they're all HEMA, but they're all very different. So each club is different. Some clubs are very active. They really focus on health and fitness as part of what they do. Some don't. So yeah, did it help? No, probably not, to be honest. I mean, from my perspective, as a teacher of HEMA, it did, because I think you put a lot more effort in as the teacher. You're always on the go. You're trying to keep the energy levels in the group up all the time. So doing HEMA as an instructor, yeah, that's going to help you stay fit. As a student, yeah, maybe not. Then, of course, boxing, bare-knuckle boxing, classical pugilism, yeah, the fitness that you get from that training on a regular basis, absolutely massive. Yes, you get hit in the face a bit. Yes, you might get dropped a few times. You might break your nose. But as a general rule of thumb, you're training hard, you're training often, and you're training a lot, and you get very fit, you get very healthy. And I can't recommend it enough. The benefits for that, massive. Are you likely to break your hands? Yeah, possibly, if you're not careful. I think you need to be sensible with it. But all in all, I'd say yes. Catch wrestling. This is where it starts to get tricky. Firstly, because this is the martial art I'm looking to teach. And secondly, because it is without a doubt the most damaging thing I've ever done to my body. I have a painful foot. I don't know why. I've done something to it. I've no idea what. I can't even remember. My knee, yeah, we've talked about that. I've got various back spasms and pains that won't go away. I've tried various things. They're just part of life. I've got a torn rotator cuff in this shoulder that I have yet to have fixed. I don't really want to, because it'll take me out for a long time, and I can cope. I fractured my scaphoid on my right hand. I say I fractured my scaphoid. My good friend Reggie slammed me into the ground, but he slammed me the opposite way. I expected to come down on my left and was ready to break, and effectively he flipped me and slammed me on my right, and I put a hand out and I completely messed up the fall. The fault was all mine, not his, and I broke my scaphoid on this hand. At the time, it took about 6 weeks, recovered beautifully. Now I've got horrible arthritis right here, just in there. It's always tender to touch, it always swells, it clicks, and it's horrible, absolutely horrible. My neck hurts, my fingers hurt. The fingers are probably BJJ. It's the gi, grabbing hold of collars and sleeves and things. Don't like that at all. Am I fitter and healthier? Well, I'm fitter, yeah, and that probably does make me healthier. On balance, it's hard to say. But there's one more thing that I want to mention that I haven't covered yet, and that's the mental aspect of it. I struggled hugely not being able to train at all after my knee injury, and it's taken 4 years with the recovery and the rehabilitation from my injury to the point where it's as good as it's going to be. And then COVID, and getting back into training has made a massive difference. It's had a huge impact on my mental health, my physical, my mental well-being, and my general kind of mood, my affect, if you like. And I can't recommend it enough. Every time there's a training session coming up and I say to myself, do you know what, I don't know if I'm up for it tonight. And I make myself go, because I pretty much always do. I walk away from that training session buzzing, absolutely knowing full well 100% that going was the right thing to do, and I am happier and I am healthier in myself because I do it. And if I were to take that away, would I be less healthy? Yes I would, without any shadow of a doubt. So does martial arts make you healthier and fitter? Yes and no. Is that a cop-out? Feels like a bit of a cop-out. So what about you? I'll ask you, do you think that martial arts training, whatever it is you do, whether it's boxing, whether it's grappling, whether it's HEMA, does it make you a healthier person? And I mean physically and or mentally. It's up to you. You tell me. I'm really interested to hear what you've got to say. So please stick something in the comments. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Fight team.